Hello students, welcome to your WebSeek Academy English channel. Today, we will discuss the poem Night of the Scorpion, which is part of the first semester BCA English syllabus. This powerful and emotional poem was written by Nissim Ezekiel, a prominent Indian poet known for his simple yet thought-provoking style of writing. About Nissim Ezekiel. Ezekiel was born on 16 December 1924 in Bombay, Mumbai, in Maharashtra. His father was a professor of botany at Wilson College, and his mother was the principal of her own school. The Ezekiels belonged to Mumbai's Marathi-speaking Jewish community known as the Bene Israel. In 1947, Ezekiel earned a BA in literature from Wilson College, Mumbai, Bombay University. In 1947-1948, he taught English literature and published literary articles. After dabbling in politics for a while, he sailed to England in November 1948. He studied philosophy at Birkbeck College, London. After 3.5 years, Ezekiel worked his way home as a deck scrubber aboard a ship carrying arms to Indochina. Night of the Scorpion Summary. The poem begins with the speaker recalling the night when his mother was stung by a scorpion. Heavy rainfall had driven the scorpion out of its hiding place beneath a sack of rice. The scorpion, described as diabolic, briefly enters the room, stings the mother, and then risks the rain again to escape. The imagery of the scorpion parting with its poison and the flash of diabolic tail sets a tense and ominous tone. The villagers, referred to as peasants, gather quickly and swarm the house like flies. They begin chanting the name of God repeatedly, believing that their prayers will paralyze the evil one, the scorpion. With candles and lanterns, they search for the scorpion, casting giant shadows on the walls. Their inability to find the scorpion leads to a collective clicking of tongues, as they attribute each movement of the scorpion outside to an increase in the poison's effect within the mother. The villagers begin to express superstitious beliefs, interpreting the mother's suffering as a form of spiritual cleansing. They suggest that the pain might be burning away sins from her previous birth or reducing the misfortunes of her next life. They see her agony as a way to balance the sum of all evil with the sum of good in the world. They also believe the poison could purify her flesh and spirit. Despite their lack of practical help, they sit around the mother with a sense of calm and understanding, perhaps offering emotional support through their presence and prayers. The mother writhes in pain, groaning on a mat, while the rain continues to fall endlessly outside. The father, a skeptic and rationalist, tries every possible remedy, ranging from powders, herbs, and mixtures to more extreme measures. In a desperate attempt, he pours paraffin on the stung toe and sets it alight, hoping to neutralize the poison. The speaker observes this grim scene, witnessing both the physical agony of his mother and the rituals performed by a holy man who recites incantations to tame the poison. After 20 hours of suffering, the effects of the sting subside, and the poison loses its potency. The poem concludes with the mother's selfless and poignant remark, "Thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children." This line reflects her maternal instinct and love, prioritizing her children's safety over her own suffering. The poem juxtaposes faith, superstition, and rationalism in the face of a crisis. It highlights the community's collective beliefs, the father's scientific approach, and the mother's enduring selflessness. The blend of personal suffering with larger philosophical and cultural questions adds depth to this vivid narrative. Short answer questions. 1. What drove the scorpion to hide under a sack of rice? Answer. 10 hours of steady rain drove the scorpion to seek shelter under the sack of rice. 2. What does the speaker compare the peasants to? Answer. The speaker compares the peasants to swarms of flies. 3. Why did the peasants buzz the name of God 100 times? Answer. The peasants chanted the name of God repeatedly to paralyze the evil one, the scorpion, and neutralize its power. 4. The poet's attitude towards the scorpion can be described as Answer. Indifferent and detached. 5. The central theme of this poem is Answer. The nature of suffering and faith. 6. The poem juxtaposes the of the event with the of the human spirit. Answer. Chaos, resilience. Answer each of the following questions in about 1 page. 1. Describe the kind of house the speaker lived in. Illustrate with examples from the poem. Focus on the poet's choice of words and imagery used. Answer. The speaker's house is described as a simple rural dwelling, reflective of life in a traditional Indian village. The poem mentions mud-baked walls, suggesting a house made from natural, locally available materials, typical of the Indian countryside. The description of the scorpion hiding beneath a sack of rice hints at a utilitarian living space where food supplies are stored within the home. Imagery such as candles and lanterns throwing giant scorpion shadows evokes a dimly lit, rustic setting where electricity might be scarce. The repeated mention of rain and the incessant downpour reinforce the image of a house vulnerable to nature, where heavy rains can drive creatures like scorpions indoors. These details not only create a vivid picture of the home but also add to the tension and mood of the narrative, portraying the house as a space simultaneously sheltering life and exposed to external dangers. 2. At one point, the peasants sit around the speaker's mother with the peace of understanding on each face. Why? Answer. The peasants exhibit the peace of understanding because they believe that the mother's suffering serves a higher purpose. Their superstitious beliefs lead them to view the scorpion's sting as a form of spiritual cleansing, purifying her of past sins and reducing the burden of misfortunes in future lives. They interpret her pain as part of the cosmic balance, diminishing the sum of all evil in the world while purifying her flesh and spirit. This acceptance stems from their faith in traditional beliefs and their resignation from suffering as an inevitable part of life. Their understanding is not practical but rooted in a philosophical or spiritual framework that gives meaning to pain. Sitting around the mother, they embody calmness, offering a collective emotional solace, even though they provide no tangible solution to alleviate her pain. 3. What did the speaker's father do to try and help his wife? How is his reaction different from that of the peasants? Answer. The speaker's father, described as a skeptic and rationalist, takes a pragmatic and scientific approach to treating his wife's scorpion sting. He tries every possible remedy available to him, including curse and blessing, powder, mixture, herb, and hybrid. In a desperate attempt, he even pours paraffin on the bitten toe and sets it alight, hoping to neutralize the poison. His methods reflect his logical mindset, prioritizing action over passive acceptance. In contrast, the peasants rely on spiritual and superstitious practices, such as chanting the name of God and interpreting the mother's pain as cosmic purification. While the father focuses on physical remedies, the peasants emphasize metaphysical explanations and prayers. This difference highlights the dichotomy between science and superstition, with the father embodying rationalism and the villagers reflecting traditional beliefs. 4. What particular words and images does the poet use to establish the Indianness of the poem? Answer. Nissim Ezekiel uses specific words, imagery, and cultural references to evoke the Indian setting of the poem. The mud-baked walls and the sack of rice portray a typical rural Indian home. The peasants, swarming like flies, represent the communal nature of Indian village life, where neighbors quickly gather during a crisis. The imagery of candles and lanterns further establishes the rural backdrop, suggesting a lack of modern amenities. The references to sins of your previous birth and the idea of balancing the sum of all evil reflect Hindu beliefs in karma and reincarnation. The rituals performed by the holy man, along with the incantations, are deeply rooted in Indian spiritual practices. Together, these elements vividly capture the cultural, geographical, and philosophical Indianness of the poem. 5. Why do you think the last three lines are placed in a separate stanza? What effect do you think the poem's structure is supposed to have on the reader? Answer. The last three lines are placed in a separate stanza to emphasize their emotional and thematic significance. These lines mark a shift in focus from the chaos and tension of the scorpion sting to the mother's selfless love and resilience. Her remark, "Thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children," highlights her maternal instinct, prioritizing her children's safety over her own suffering. This structural separation draws attention to the profound simplicity of her statement, allowing readers to reflect on the depth of her love. The poem's structure mirrors the progression of events from the initial chaos, through the villagers' rituals and the father's remedies, to the calm resolution. This final stanza leaves the reader with a sense of admiration for the mother's enduring strength and selflessness, providing a poignant conclusion to the narrative. Answer each of the following questions in about 2 pages. 1. How does the poet transform the ordinary event of a woman being stung by a scorpion into a poetic subject? Consider the role of the peasants in the light of this. Answer. Nissim Ezekiel transforms the seemingly mundane incident of a scorpion sting into a profound poetic narrative by delving into the interplay of human reactions, beliefs, and emotions. The poem's strength lies in its vivid imagery, use of contrasts, and exploration of cultural and philosophical themes. The poet introduces the event with a strong visual image of the scorpion, driven indoors by relentless rain, stinging the speaker's mother before disappearing into the night. The scorpion's diabolic tail becomes a symbol of danger and suffering, setting a dramatic tone. Ezekiel builds upon this tension by describing the peasants who arrive en masse, like swarms of flies. The peasants' role is pivotal in adding depth to the narrative. They embody a collective response rooted in superstition and faith, offering prayers and interpreting the mother's pain through the lens of karma and cosmic balance. Their actions chanting God's name and philosophizing about suffering contrast with the rationalist approach of the father. Through the peasants, Ezekiel captures the essence of rural Indian culture, where collective faith often overrides scientific reasoning in moments of crisis. The poet's nuanced depiction of these reactions elevates the incident beyond its literal context, exploring themes such as the nature of suffering, the coexistence of superstition and rationality, and the resilience of the human spirit. By weaving personal, cultural, and philosophical elements into the narrative, Ezekiel transforms an ordinary event into a richly layered poetic subject. 2. Compare the different techniques that various people use to try and help heal the speaker's mother. What does this tell us about them? Answer. The poem highlights a variety of responses to the mother's scorpion sting, each reflecting the cultural and personal perspectives of those involved. The peasants rely on collective faith and superstitions to address the crisis. They chant God's name repeatedly, believing this will paralyze the scorpion and neutralize its poison. Their philosophical musings linking the mother's suffering to karma and the cosmic balance show a reliance on spiritual explanations rather than practical solutions. This response reflects a rural Indian worldview, deeply rooted in tradition, communal values, and acceptance of suffering as part of life's larger cycle. The father. In stark contrast, the father adopts a pragmatic and scientific approach. As a skeptic and rationalist, he uses powders, mixtures, herbs, and even hybrid remedies. His most extreme measure, pouring paraffin on the stung toe and setting it alight, highlights his desperation and belief in action over passivity. This response reflects his logical mindset, contrasting with the villager's reliance on faith. The holy man. The holy man's intervention adds another dimension, blending spirituality with ritual. His incantations to tame the poison represent a ceremonial approach that merges faith with performance, reinforcing the cultural backdrop of the poem. The mother. The mother herself endures the pain with quiet resilience. Her ultimate reaction, thanking God for sparing her children, shows selflessness and maternal instinct, elevating her role as a figure of strength and love. These varied responses illustrate the complexity of human behavior in the face of adversity, highlighting the tension between science, faith, and emotion. Ezekiel uses these contrasts to paint a rich and multifaceted portrait of the individuals involved. 3. What do you understand about the speaker's parents from a reading of the poem? Answer. The speaker's parents emerge as complex and contrasting characters, each embodying different responses to the crisis while reflecting universal human qualities. The mother. The mother's character is defined by her resilience, selflessness, and maternal love. Despite enduring hours of excruciating pain, she remains stoic, groaning only occasionally as she twists on the mat. Her concluding remark, "Thank God the scorpion picked on me and spared my children," reveals her self-sacrificing nature. She prioritized her children's well-being over her own suffering, embodying a deeply compassionate and enduring spirit. The father. The father is depicted as a man of reason, contrasting with the villager's reliance on faith. His skepticism and rationalist mindset led him to explore practical solutions, using powders, herbs, and even unconventional measures like setting the bitten toe on fire with paraffin. His actions convey a sense of urgency and a refusal to surrender to superstition. However, his desperation and willingness to try anything, including curses and blessings, hint at an underlying vulnerability and love for his wife. Together, the parents represent the dualities of human nature, rationality versus faith, action versus endurance, and individual versus communal responses. Their contrasting approaches underscore the poem's exploration of human resilience, the complexities of familial bonds, and the coexistence of differing worldviews within the same cultural context. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Webseek Academy for more English lessons and notes. See you in the next video. Until then, keep reading, keep leading.